Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing an unboxing video of my latest Amazon purchase. This is the 2-pack of 16 megapixel trail cameras from the company Campark. The model number on these cameras is T21. If you've watched my videos before, you know I like doing these unboxing videos in case there's somebody else out there who's thinking about buying the same item and they just want to get an idea of what does it look like when it comes in, how does it work, stuff like that. So I will say, this isn't the first time I've tried Campark trail cameras. I've bought one other one before in the past. I bought it in 2018 and it is still out at my farm on my deer stand and it's working like a charm. So that's why I went back to Campark when I needed some additional cameras. And I can't believe this. This 2-pack, you get two 16 megapixel trail cameras. I paid $89 on Amazon when I bought these, which to me is just a crazy good deal if the cameras work pretty well. So let's take a look at everything we get. Instruction manual, before you start card, a redeemable free gift offer, and then the two cameras. So I tell you, I won't take them both out. It should be the exact same thing. Maybe we'll just take out one and take a look at what we get. So this is going to be free standard. As with any of the trail cameras you get, you're going to get again, two of each of these, but you're going to get a strap if you want to run this through the back of the camera mounted around a tree. You also get the metal mounting bracket. This is what I tend to use. They give you some screws. Basically screw this into a tree. You're going to have this part of the arm through here, and then you're going to have this part connected to your camera. And then you can move this any different way you want to get a perfect angle on your camera. These work really well, and especially for me. I usually tend to put my camera out. I leave these in position, and whenever I want to go back out there and put the camera, I've got my mounting bracket still mounted. USB cable, I've never once used any of these USB cables. So the only reason you'd really need this is if there are any firmware updates, you'll need this to be able to connect the camera to your computer. Or if you don't have a card reader in your computer, you could plug this into the camera, plug it into your computer, and you can retrieve your images off of the camera that way. So let's take a look at the camera itself. Wow, this thing is tiny. So here, I've got another camera from a different company. Look at the size difference on these. You might be wondering, hey, why? Look, this camera still got the plastic on it. Why isn't it working? Because I'm getting ready to send this one back. I ordered this one, wouldn't even cut on. That's when I went with Campark. Since I've used them before, I knew their cameras would work halfway decent. So a couple of the things that I like on this camera, I like that you can only run it on 4 AA batteries. It saves on cost. For me, the bigger issue is that it takes a solar panel. So when this is closed, if you've got a 6-volt solar panel or power outlet, you can run it corded, which I always look for in a camera. I tend to run mine off of solar panels. The other thing I like is that it takes a full SD card versus the micro SD card. For me, with bigger fingers, it's just easier to handle a full SD card. So it doesn't have the threading in the back. It does have the threaded mount on the bottom. Some of the cameras will have it on the back as well as on the bottom. This one just has it on the bottom. If you're choosing to use this strap, then you would run it through here. So that's a quick look at the camera. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a power supply on it and maybe we'll go through the settings and see how the setup looks. Hey everybody, so I've got the camera and I thought it might be beneficial just to go through some of the setup really quick. If you've seen any of my videos, honestly the setup for this camera is pretty similar to any of the cameras out of China that are sold off of Amazon. The one thing I was going to mention is I'm using it just on a solar panel, which is perfectly fine, or you can run it just on AA batteries. It's kind of your preference. As I mentioned before, I like just running it off of a solar panel. If you're like me and you just run it off of the solar panel, I need to show you something that's kind of goofy about the way this camera is set up. There's some other cameras on the market that are the same way. At the bottom of the camera, there's a button here. There's an off setting, setup, and on setting. Hopefully you're gonna be able to see that. To set it up, all we're gonna do is make sure your memory card's in it and move it to the setup position. So in the instructions, it recommends the first thing you do is to format your SD card. And I tend to agree with that. No matter what camera you're using, I always recommend that to be your first step. But this camera is really easy. You've got a menu button here, a left arrow button, a play button, an OK button, a camera button. The OK is a video, and this is a camera. And then there's also a right arrow, and then there's a shot video. If you want to take a manual shot, that's what the shot button is for. If you want to do playback and look at your images on the camera, you would hit the play button here. If I hit it, it's going to say there's no file that exists because I haven't taken any pictures yet. The menu button is going to be what we're interested in. Sorry, let me get out of play. So we just press the menu button. That's going to take us into all of our settings. And then all you're going to do is use the left and right arrow buttons here to move through the settings. So you'll see I can move down with this button. I can move up with this button. When I'm on any of the settings, for example, the mode, if we want to change that, we're just going to press OK, and that takes us into our mode settings. So we can set it on photo, video, or photo and video. I've already got mine set on photo and video. We'll just press OK, and it takes us back here, and we'll go through all of the settings. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll show you maybe a couple of them. I don't want to bore you to death with it, but photo resolution. This is a 16 megapixel camera. You can go all the way down to 1 megapixel. The video resolution, again, it's 1080p video. You can go all the way down to 480p. Oops. You're just going to go through all of these. So video length is how long do you want the videos to be when it records? Do you want sound recording when you're doing videos? That's one of my favorite features on a camera. If you've never tried audio recording on your videos, especially if you're videoing wildlife, it's really interesting to listen to some of the sounds that get recorded. Shot lag is going to be your delay between it resetting itself. You can set your sensitivity. You can set target recording time. That would be if you only want the camera to be operational during certain times of day. Maybe you only want to take night pictures, but you don't want day pictures. You would do that with target recording time. Time lapse is if you want a certain time of day it to take a picture every day. You can set that in time lapse, your language, your time and date, your photo stamp on or off, and the format of your photo stamp. You can password protect it. You can cut on a beep sound or cut it off. I'll show you what that is. Oops. So now we'll hear a beep every time I press the button. Here's where you would format your memory card. You can just press OK, say yes, I want to format it. It's pretty standard. All of this is pretty standard on any camera. You get your settings the way you want. Once you're ready, you just go back to this bottom switch and you move it from setup to on. Now here's what I was going to say, it's kind of goofy. If you're somebody like me who's just going to use a solar panel, you've got a real problem here. I can't close it without disconnecting my solar panel. And on the flip side, if I disconnect the solar panel and I close it, I have no way to open it and move it from setup to on. So if you're going to just use a solar panel, if you're using batteries, it's no big deal. Solar panel only comes into play because of the cord in this hole here. What you would do is you would move it to the on position so it's ready to work. You would disconnect your solar panel, close it. Took me a while actually to figure this out. Then plug in your solar panel and it'll come back on. It remembers all of your settings. It's got a built-in memory and it's going to trigger itself after the 15 seconds. So if you are just using a solar panel, that would be how you'd have to use this camera to get it to trigger. So anyway, that's a quick look at the setup. I hope that helps. Let's get it put out and get some video and image quality.